Hey everybody, I figured I'd make a video of this because it's a lot easier than trying to explain it in words, but this is my new to me 2022 F-150 Platinum Power Boost, and it came with the stock Ford roll-up soft cover, which isn't terrible if that's the kind of cover you like, but I don't. So I decided to buy a hard multi-piece flip-up cover, and after doing a lot of research I decided that I really liked the Lear HF650 flip-up cover because it's 4 panels. It'll flip all the way up with these stand-ups. You can drive with it up, you can still use the camera, you can still see the brake light. Obviously it still blocks the rear window. If you want to take the cover completely off, it's literally two twist bolts and about 5 minutes work, not even, and you can just lift that right off by yourself and set it in your garage or even slide it in the back of the truck. Installing this thing was not the greatest, so I guess I'll start with some of the things that I've read online. A lot of people ordered covers like this from Lear or other vendors that sell Lear and had them arrive damaged. Mine did not. I have a picture of it I'll post on the near this video, but it was packed really well, strapped with corners and extra tape, and the box itself was very thick with lots of foam, packed well inside, no damage at all to my cover. A little pamphlet that basically says, here's your box of goodies, go online for the instruction manual. Now this cover is actually not the HF650. This is the cover that Lear sells on their website right underneath the HF650, called Ford flip-up cover. And the only difference between the HF650 and this cover is it has Ford logos on it, on both the underside and on the back of the cover when you close it. And the brackets that hold it to the truck are custom brackets made just for Ford, not the little aluminum blocks that get used on all the other trucks. Oh, and the other difference, it's half the price. This was $650. I've seen it as cheap as $560. The HF650 is $1,600 or $1,700, $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, depending on where you get it. I also wanted to talk about a few things about installing this, because the video I watched was for the 650, because it is for the same cover, just as I suspected it was. The video on Lear's website isn't the greatest. The guy does walk through the basic install, but he skips over a few things. He's wrong about a few things, and there's a couple pointers I want to give to help anybody who's trying to do this. So first of all, mine's already installed, obviously, but I'm going to try and explain everything as I go. The rails come in 2 pieces, as you can see. You connect them with little Allen bolts. This thing's not really attached. It's stuck in one end of the rail or the other. Pay attention. The rails go left side, right side. The short port piece goes in the front. The little ball joint for the stand-up goes facing in. When you put these together, just slide this in one half. It's got a little gasket on it, so it'll stop. Tighten 2 of them and slide the other half in. Hold it snug. You don't want to squish that completely, but you do want to compress it a little bit, and then tighten your other 2 bolts, and then retighten everything. Make sure it stays nice and snug. When you put your rail on your truck, on the front there's a piece of foam. Unfortunately, I probably won't be able to show you that now. Let's see if I can. Well, if you watch the video from Lear, on the front there's a piece of foam. When you stick that on, try to stick it on. If this was the front of the rail, try to stick it on so it lines up, the edge of it lines up with this vertical part in the top, which means you're going to have a block of foam sort of sticking out into the bed of the truck. That's how you want it. You don't want it sticking up too high. You don't want it sticking out this way too far. You just want to even with this edge and let the excess just stick out into the truck, because when you put everything together it doesn't matter and it'll seal the hole better. Then when you set your rail on your truck, you get these all sort of prepped ahead of time take them apart, loosen the screws up. Don't put the bottom screw in yet. Get a couple of them up in your truck bed. Slide the rail up on here, just set it on. Slide it to the front and gently compress that foam in the front, lining the back up with the back of your truck like this. Then put this clamp on right here, the second one. These pop up in like this and then rotate, and then the back part lifts up into the back of the truck. Now if you slide your finger up in here, you will find that there's these plastic things and other obstructions in the rail of your truck. You don't want to hit one of those when you tighten this clamp. So feel around and find a spot. This is a 5.5 foot bed. So you want one at the back. I can go back this far, and then there's a protrusion right here. So I only have a spot about this big for this one, or I could go in front of it. But you really want to be towards the back because that's where your latch is. And the next one, best spot, there's a plastic thing here, so you can go right here or you can go right here. I chose to go this side of it because the second panel doesn't have a latch anyway. And then the next one, the front two need to be on the front small rail. So you want your first one right next to this splice, and again there's a plastic thing right here, so you only have about 2 inches to get this in and get it straight. And then the front one, they have a thing at the front that says, you know, put it up here. There's obviously no way you can do that. So you put it as far forward as you can, but again, there's a plastic thing right about there. So that's as close as you can get it. Put all these on using the Allen wrench they give you. Don't put the bottom screws in yet. And snug up all 4 of them. Then take a look at your rail. Adjust it front to back if you need to. And then starting in one of the middle ones, tighten this up as tight as you can get it. Pretty Bubba tight. I mean, with the Allen wrench. Don't go getting out your impact gun or something. And then tighten up the other one here. And go back and get your bottom screws. Put your bottom screw in and tighten it up. After you've tightened the top screw, and you will see that what will happen is it will create a gap. And what it's doing is it's pulling this down, which is pulling this down onto the rail of your truck. So when you're done, you should be able to go up and down this rail. Repeat that with all 4 of them. You should be able to go up and down this rail, and there should be no gap. You shouldn't be able to hardly get a playing card in there. If you don't tighten these first, this doesn't work right. So if you did it wrong to start with, undo it. Undo everything. Get these back on. Let them squeeze together as you're just tightening this up as tight as you can get it. And then screw this in. This one doesn't get Bubba tight. This gets pretty tight. But what you're looking for is a gap. On mine, they're all about, I don't know, 3/32 of an inch. You know, maybe 2 millimeters. Every single one of them came out about the same. And that's right where they are when they're completely flush. Double check your rail to make sure it didn't shift, and then repeat it with the other side. Once you get that done, it's nice if you have somebody to help you. Undo the lid from the box and get the plastic off of it. Lift it up into the truck and set it down flat. It's going to be folded up like this, but the front flapper piece is already loose. And lay it on there. Underneath this, there's 2 pieces of weather stripping. One that's supposed to go inside the truck and one that goes over the front. Get those set up the way you want them. And then you plop down the first thing and let it latch. That way it gets square with your bed rails. Finally hop in here. And then on the Ford trucks, sorry everybody, there's a separate piece. It looks like this. It's not the little block thing like they show in the videos. It's got 2 sides. It's reversible. One side's taller than the other. Well, one side will fit into your rail on your truck depending on how you got it set. For me, it's the longer rail. You can see how it just, maybe you can see here. Okay, there we go. It pops into that track. So what you have to do is put the screw in it from the top, with the head of the screw goes into a slot in this, and then you sort of wiggle it until it all comes together while it's loose, very loose. Get the screw where it's supposed to be straight and it's in the slot. This will pop into the rail and you tighten these. Well, as tight as you can get them finger tight, and put these little rubber things on so you don't scratch the shit out of your stuff if you load your bed up. The final thing you got to do is pop on these bad boys. They're marked. It's not marked top or bottom, and they almost look the same, but one has a release on it. The one with the release goes at the bottom, and without the release goes to the top. If you screw it up too bad, you can stick a screwdriver in here and lift this up a little bit and it'll pop off. The very final thing you have to do is, apparently Lear changed this. I've read a lot of complaints online about these getting broken in shipping. So these are the little standoff things that the rails clip on, that the standoffs clip on when you're not using them. I have to still put those on. I've also heard a lot of people saying that even these ones that they ship, plastic ones, will break eventually, and that you might as well just go buy some metal ones. They have them, you know, prop rods for cars, all kinds of different things you could buy to hold that in place, or even Velcro, probably even a magnet. I don't know. That's about it. So yeah, in the front, oh yeah, there's on these trucks there's 8 clamps, the 2 with the rail. The D-ring go on the front. I chose to put the D-ring up because I want it away from the bed as much as possible, and I'm not a big fan of this bent into the truck, taking up more space for things to get scratched on and so forth. So I'm probably going to take these off and redo them. I'm either going to beat these out until they're flat, or probably just get a piece of plate steel and cut out some smaller eyelets of my own that are just flat with the truck. They don't need to be bent in like this. I think it's a really poor design choice, because everything else on this really does hide away. The final thing I would do, that I'm going to do, and I would suggest maybe, is to get some shorter bolts for these. These do not need to stick out this far. This could be a 1/2-inch bolt, and then it would be almost flush when you're done. It won't be hanging down into your bed to get caught on things. So that's the last thing I'm going to probably change. But other than that, I really like this cover, and it's half the price of the name brand one. I can't hardly believe it, but it is. Anyway, hit me up if you got any questions.